Moo! Hi YouTube! So, I know I haven't made a YouTube video in a long time. Typically, my YouTube videos have always been my Twitch streams, but edited for YouTube in a way. And this is going to be like a fun video where I let you guys know a little bit more about my history with video games. So, I'm just going to play Rivals in the background so you guys have something to watch while I'm talking. I'm currently recovering from facial surgery, so I mean, it's why my facial movement's a bit weird, because it's like my face is all numb. But yeah, I've been gaming since I was a kid, and I'm at the point in my life where I feel like I'm a bit too old to be tryharding. I'm 32 years old, but I already notice I'm a I'm a lot slower than I used to be, to say the least. See, is this gonna put me in Diamond League? Okay, yeah. When I started last month, it put me in Bronze League. That was a joke. I would say my online gaming started when I was like 12 or 13 years old. It started with Warcraft 3. And as you guys can imagine, I'm really upset at Warcraft 3 Reforged. It's like Nukin and several other people urged me to play. They don't understand my history with the game. That was my first game where I actually participated in in-person tournaments in esports. Yeah, I was like, I had to be like 14 or 15 years old when I was playing in tournaments, because that was the first game I took seriously. I I really love that game. I would say that the reason why I'm good at RTS nowadays is because of that. Because you know, when you play RTS games like Command and Conquer or Age of Empires against the AI, there's only like a certain skill level that you can reach without, let's say, influence from other people. Because it's like you don't know what's good, you don't know what's bad. What tactics are you going to deploy? Do you know any micro tricks? It's like you learn that from other people or YouTube videos. Back then, there weren't any YouTube videos about gaming that were really popular or anything. Yeah, so do I do resource challenge? Nah. I don't really need cloning labs or anything. It's like I can't spend my credits on or diamonds on anything. Shit, there has to be. There was a deck I was using earlier. It had like a MLRS. Yeah, this one. The base rushing deck. That's what I consider this to be. Yeah, my face is healing a little bit. I'm still swollen from the surgery, but I feel like in a month or two I'll probably be back at 100%. So yeah, it was Warcraft 3. That was my first game that I took seriously. And it was like 2 or 3 years. It took me that long, and I was doing ranked competitively to where I became rank 1 in the US East server. I didn't know that US East, because you know, there were 4 servers in Warcraft 3. It was US East, US West, Europe, and Asia. And I was completely unaware that US East had the weakest players. So despite me getting rank 1 in that region, it didn't matter that much. Because I didn't, little to my knowledge, people in the other servers were so much better. Because yeah, I participated in the World Cyber Games in person. Twice. And you know what? I got wrecked first round twice. Like I'm telling you, in-person tournaments. That was my first esports experience. Yeah, getting owned like that. It was funny. It was a lesson to be learned. And then after that, I mainly participated in like, you know, didn't really participate in anything serious like after that. It was mostly it's mostly casual gaming with like World of Warcraft and everything. Let's see what I have to do. Yeah, this is gonna be tough. Dealing with this. I'm slightly concentrating a bit because I don't want to get wrecked. Okay, it should be easy now. I'm sorry. I I was talking. Did I shut the hell up so I can concentrate with my mic well? I mean, the season just reset, so you know these players might be half decent. Who knows? No, come on, man. Why poor network? I know I'm not lagging. I'm gonna try hard, dude. This is my first game of the season. I don't expect it to be a try hard fest. I might put a more serious deck on since these are the type of opponents I'm running into. It is what it is. Yeah, you guys know that when I stop talking, I'm in try hard mode. You know, this is one thing, another reason why I took a big hiatus from Rivals. I don't like how this is the meta right now. You know, it's not fun. It's not fun when the meta is just a bunch of cheap spam. Because this guy I'm playing against right now, he's got no heavy units. It's like Banshee, it's like bikes. Did he have bikes? I think he did. And it's like buggy, militants, and laser troops. It's just nothing but cheap garbage. It's like, are you really having fun when you're spamming like cheap, low-cost units? Like, look, what a fucking boring deck. Absolutely boring deck to play against. Like, a few years ago when I played Rivals, I thought it was really fun that you could play all the iconic units from Command and Conquer long history. Like, everybody knows that the face of Command and Conquer is Mammoth Tank. You play Tiberium Dawn, any of the Command and Conquer games, Mammoth Tank is the most iconic unit in the entire game. And when I played in 2018 and 2019, that was my goal, to do that. And going back to my story about how I started with video games, it's like after Warcraft 3, I just played video games casually. I was playing like the RPGs, like I didn't really have any money at the time, so I was just playing like single player games. And what was it? I don't want to say what I did because yeah, it's not. But yeah, I was playing Dragon Age and Mass Effect games like those, and Dungeon Siege. There's a few others. I grew up heavily on role playing games, but the games I really took seriously were always the RTS. Like I played Age of Empires 2 religiously, but like I said, there's only like a certain skill level you can get when you practice against the AI over and over again. It's, it was pretty. It it was fun for me, and I played a lot of Age of Empires 3. I never got to experience those games in a competitive nature. Warcraft 3 was the first. I played World of Warcraft for several years as a teenager, and that completely ruined my life. It took me a lot of self-control to quit that game. Like, I was in high school, and it was completely destroying my grades. Like, I was playing it, like, more than 8 hours a day. And, you know, as a kid, you don't really understand the importance of education because that kind of sets you up later in life. But I realized I had no friends in real life. I had no social skills. And it's because I spent all my time on World of Warcraft. That was my senior year in high school where I had to force myself to quit the game. And I realized that my life was shitty because I dedicated most of my time towards that. And so I vowed to never play another MMO ever again. I don't want to play World of Warcraft again. No, I'll never play another MMO ever again. So after World of Warcraft, I believe I went back to Warcraft 3 a little bit because it's like that's what I knew. And when I went to college, that's when I started playing League of Legends. I believe it was like what 20 trying to think here. 2012, 2011. League of Legends was my next game. I played a lot of Dota because Dota is a Warcraft 3 like custom game. I played a lot of custom games in Warcraft 3 like battleships and all that. That was super fun. So, League of Legends came naturally to me. It's like Dota, but substantially easier. Some of my childhood friends from high school introduced me to that game, and it just came naturally. So Season 2, I was like a platinum player in League of Legends. And Season 3, I became Challenger. No, I'm dead serious, I became Challenger. But I was very immature, and in League of Legends, you cannot become pro unless you become part of an esports team. Because League of Legends obviously is a 5 versus 5. When I say I become Challenger, I was Challenger in 3 versus 3. There were 3 different game modes. There was solo queue, which is you queuing up solo, or with a friend on ranked. It was pretty neat. But yeah, my expertise was 3v3 because I was a top laner. During that time, top laners was about like bruisers, like think of an example. Bruisers like Darius or Jarvan, Renekton, stuff like that, Shyvana. Yeah, I did Shyvana top lane quite a few times because Shyvana was really popular in 3 versus 3, that's why. So despite dedicating a couple years of my life to League of Legends, it never really amounted to anything. Despite being the rank that I could have made it a career. Because you guys know League of Legends is one of the most popular games right now. And it's been one of the most popular games for like half a decade. Or a full decade, to say the least. I didn't really stick to that. And I think I played a few other games in between. Like Company of Heroes 2. I played that for fun. I became rank 1 for like team games. It was like 3 versus 3 and 4 versus 4. I find Company of Heroes 1v1 to be totally stressful. So it's like I never did that. I never participated in any of the tournaments for Company of Heroes. You guys are unaware what that is. It's an RTS, but it takes place in the World War II era, which you could play as the Axis or the Allies. The Allies typically being the US, UK, and America, and the Axis, which is 2 different German factions. They call it Oberkommando West, which is West Germany, and the Wehrmacht, which is East Germany, which is a bit silly. They could have had Japan or the Italians, but I digress. So when I say I got rank 1 in Company of Heroes, it was for a couple years straight. I did it for team games. That's another game where I was really good and didn't amount to anything. Because, when you're one of the best in any video game, it takes a lot of dedication. I don't know if you guys, anybody watching this video, have tried to take a video game seriously. But when you play for rank, you typically play it for hours and hours a day. It becomes like a second job. Like it did with Rivals for me. Rivals is like a second job for me when I did it a few years ago. Because sometimes it's not about if you can beat the best players. It's about, do you have time to grind for the highest rank? You know what I mean? Like current day Rivals is just about grinding. It's not about if you can beat everybody. I saw Victor Bansimer rank 1 last season. I kicked his ass like 3 times. I didn't lose to him once. So it's like, yeah, Victor Bansimer had time to grind to rank 1. I mean, no shade for him. It's whatever. I'm just saying. I don't have enough money for Militant, so I'm just going to spend more wheels in the meantime. I don't want to sacrifice my tank, but whatever. I'm gonna do the guys park here. The reason I'm moving my face is because my webcam's in the way. I can't see. This guy's pop capping me. He's not really doing a good job of it. Seems like everyone who plays Rivals nowadays, because, you know, most of the player base has quit. So it's just a bunch of tryhards that are left. So, like, look at this. That's another deck with cheap crap. Banshee. He's pop capping me. This guy has no skill and no playing ability. It's just, he's just playing a bunch of cheap bullshit and spamming it. That's Rivals nowadays. Rivals in a nutshell. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. So I think in between Company of Heroes and like League of Legends, I also played Heroes of the Storm. That was 2015, I believe. I became rank 1 in the first season, but I didn't think that that game would hit off. I'm very salty. I'm still salty to this day that I didn't stick with Heroes of the Storm, because honestly, if I did, being rank 1 at the time, I would have participated in esports. That game had esports. I mean, right now the game's pretty dead, but yeah, that's something I would have loved to participate in. I didn't, because I quit after the first season, which I'm super salty over. So, man, that was pretty awful. And I started dipping my toes into mobile games after that. It's like, I'm just trying to think of the time in my life where I started playing mobile games, because at my, I think it was like 2014 or 2015 is when I had a smartphone. It was like a Motorola Droid Razr. And that was when mobile gaming started becoming a thing. Because I never had a handheld device. The last console I had was like a PlayStation 3. And I didn't really play that game online. I was an achievement hunter and when I played on the PlayStation. You know those little trophies you get when you do achievements? I like playing for goals. Like when I played Starcraft 2, I still do, but I did it for achievements, because if I don't want to compete in a game, I want to at least have fun. Because for me, it's either I'm having fun or I'm trying to try hard and compete for like rank or something. Starcraft is, I never became like one of the best in Starcraft because it's very fast paced. Cause you know, I like to constantly mention I'm Asian. I feel like Asians are just naturally good at video games, for the fact that, you know, all the best esports countries are all the Asian countries. They have the reputation for being the best. It's an Asian thing, you know. You got like Asian pride. I was always like naturally good at RTS, but StarCraft just isn't fun for me. It's so fucking fast paced, man, and it's like you have to multitask. It's like Age of Empires or Command and Conquer, but like more than twice as fast. It's 3 times as fast. And so I played StarCraft casually, like Brood War. I know I'm not really saying anything in order because it's like I'm playing Rivals at the same time. But I still play Starcraft 2 for the co-op mode. I find it very fun. And I believe the first mobile game I played was... It was called Star Wars Force Arena. So at the time, I played a bit of Hearthstone. And when you play Hearthstone, it's very common to watch streamers. Because after you get pissed off... Because with every card game, you run into RNG. And the RNG is really crappy. It can work in your favor or work against you. So I watch like Hearthstone streamers like Trump and Kriparian. I'm talking about Trump, the Hearthstone streamer, not Trump as in my president. And so I got to Legend one time in Hearthstone, Legend rank with a Paladin deck and Zoo Warlock. So that was a 2-time Legend rank. The first time I wanted to get with my own deck, which was Paladin. And then after that's when I made my own Warlock deck with Dr. Boom. After that, what happened was tournaments in Hearthstone started becoming way too popular. Because early Hearthstone, there were no tournaments. And when that happened, everyone was copying the meta decks that you would see in tournaments. Like the first Hearthstone tournament I remember watching was like BlizzCon. Then after that, it was like I believe it was called GSN. It was on YouTube series. You can look that up. Like Strife Crow and like Kriparian and Trump, like ECOP and all that stuff. If you guys know anything about the Hearthstone scene at all. This guy is toast. This is a bomber, yeah. This is one thing I don't like about Rivals. It's like the game's over. I'm so far ahead. But yet I have to play it out because this guy's got cheap garbage. He can swindle the missile from me. Yeah, get out of my game. So Star Wars Force Arena was the first mobile game that I really started playing. And what it was a 1v1 MOBA. I haven't watched a single Star Wars movie prior to trying that game. But the streamer I watched, his name was Kriparian. He was a Diablo player. I played a little bit about Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 back in the day, so it was pretty awesome. But I watched Kriparian because he was a Hearthstone streamer. And he was sponsored by the Netmarble, which made Force Arena. It was so cool. Seeing as somebody that played League of Legends and Dota, which are other MOBAs, which 5 versus 5. And since I like 3 versus 3 in League of Legends because there's less players and there's more emphasis on individual skill than teamwork, I thought it was cool. The 1v1 MOBA, like the concept was just so cool to me. So I played that game. And I quickly became fucking engulfed in that game. It's like I could play it on my phone. I mean, this is not the same phone I had in the time, but I was playing it at work and everything, and I became the rank 1 in that game. You know, I have a history of being rank 1 in most of the games that I put a substantial amount of effort in, because, you know, I'm a tryhard. It's in my blood. Being an Asian person, you typically take things way too seriously than you need to. That's kind of like why Asian parents fucking beat your ass if you don't get A's. They're overachievers. I don't know. It's like the culture. My mom is 100% Asian. She's Thai and Chinese, so that makes me half of that. And yeah, she would beat my ass if I didn't get A's. I'm dead serious. And so that's why in high school it was a bit hard. The fact that I wasn't doing well. I mean, I got second honors, which is like being in a Catholic high school. That's like all B's or higher, that was like second honors, which is okay. I wasn't like that every single semester. It was just the final semester. And so in Force Arena, I played that for the next few years, and that's where I started growing my Twitch. I streamed League of Legends a little bit, but being as I grew up as a gamer, I didn't have any social skills. I was fucking awkward. There are some League of Legends videos I have on YouTube under a different alias, like Admiral Turan, if you guys want to look that up. and I just got a bunch of hate because I didn't look presentable and I didn't really have any social skills, and just a cringy little kid. So I stopped streaming for a while, and I picked up streaming again with Force Arena because I was one of the best. And that's when I started growing my audience. I had 0 subs, 0 donations, 0 bits when I was streaming Force Arena, but I enjoyed having an audience. That game didn't really have any esports. That game had a lot of tournaments, but they were all community run. It's a lot like Rivals, where Rivals did have esports, where I became the world champion in, but after that tournament in San Francisco, the Rivals Championship event, there was no official tournaments after that. They were all community run. And so that's during like the next 3 years of Rivals. That's what you guys know me for. So in Force Arena, after dominating most of the tournaments, I saw that the announcement in 2018 for Command and Conquer Rivals. Seeing as I grew up on the whole franchise, I played Red Alert, Red Alert 1, Red Alert 2. I even played Red Alert 3 and Tiberium Dawn. I played a lot of Tiberium Sun for the campaign. I didn't really play that much because honestly, Tiberium Sun was not a fun game to me. I never played Kane's Wrath or Tiberium Wars, but I loved like Yuri's Revenge and RA2. Like those games were freaking fun. I would play those non-stop against the AI. Because that was before I was playing games online. Cause like I said, my first online experience was Warcraft 3. That was the first game I took seriously. I may be all over the place with my story, but because, when you're talking with decades of gaming and stuff like that, why did I only kill one drone? That's dumb. It's a bit buggy, dude. That's okay. So, Force Arena surprisingly had a lot of tournaments. A substantial, despite all the tournaments being community ran, there was a substantial amount of tournaments. And so I actually made a decent amount of chump change playing that game, Can I block them? Yeah, I blocked them. I'm paying attention to the timings. I may be a bit lost in resources right now. So when you guys can look at my older YouTube videos. I did a lot of Force Arena guides. That game was never popular, and I noticed the player base was exceedingly toxic. That's another reason why I never pursued Company of Heroes. It's like, when the player base is exceedingly toxic, it's kind of like a deterrent. It's like, do I want to be really good at this game because I enjoy it, or am I doing it out of spite because I hate everybody that plays the game? So that's pretty much my experience with that. And I still kept playing Force Arena when Rivals was introduced because I participated in like the alpha and the beta. I believe it was the beta of Rivals is when I got rank 1 in the game. And that's when I switched over full time because Star Wars Force Arena had an announcement that the game was shutting down. because when the game wasn't that profitable, I'm assuming. The Star Wars IP is very expensive because it's kind of like a huge franchise. And yeah, it really sucked. But yeah, that was my first experience with streaming. Just trying to think, did I play any more games in between then? There were a lot of RPGs and MMOs I played in between all of my esports games, but they're not really that noteworthy. I didn't really have any friends growing up, because when you grow up as a gamer, it's like your life is video games. Growing up, just trying to think of what's noteworthy, because I've always played RTS games like Impossible Creatures and Age of Empires 1 and Age of Empires 3 and 2. That's why I'm as good as RTS as I am today. Most of my micro tricks I've gotten from watching Starcraft, because people always ask me, it's like, when did you learn how to do all this stuff in Rivals? Like, it's Starcraft streamers. Starcraft is hands down the hardest video game to compete in. Easily. I'd even say Starcraft in the highest level is harder than chess. It's like comparing apples to oranges, but when you see what those people do with 600 APM, microing and macroing, controlling 4 different bases, sometimes 6 or 7, and controlling 200 pops worth of units, it's ridiculous. It's so inhuman. That's why I never bothered competing in StarCraft. But yeah, Rivals, I only played it because of the Command and Conquer name. In every YouTube video for Rivals in the early days, a lot of people didn't want to play it. It's like, not my Command and Conquer, blah blah blah. Shit like that. That's kind of bullshit, whatever. Tick tank is busted. Well, I don't know why it shot faster than the Scorpion tank. I was unaware of how powerful the tick tank was. Maybe I should try this out. Some of these games require a lot more effort than I realized. I thought I could just talk and play the game at the same time, but I guess the meta right now is a bunch of try-hard stuff. Should I do a more try-hard deck? I know this deck is super try-hard right here. It's like a tournament deck I was playing a while ago. I could try it out. I believe it was Missile Troop Opener. I'm trying to think if I left any of my history out. It's like a bit sporadic with my story. I just want to touch up on kind of like all the esports and games I took seriously. Cause like the first game I played was Age of Empires 1 as a kid, but that's not really noteworthy or anything. I played Diablo and all that stuff. It was fun. Oh damn it, I thought I told the snipers to sit still. I'm gonna make a tick tank. This guy has no skill. What's in here? I don't remember. So in this meta, you definitely need missile troops. You can't really survive without it. I honestly thought boosted drones could beat that. Kinda sucks, but whatever. Easy. So yeah, as you guys can imagine, Rivals consumed my life after I started playing it full time. It became like a second job to me. I've always wanted to play video games for a living. The first thing I saw that gave me the idea that you could play video games for a living was Jonathan Windle, also known as Fatality. He was known for playing Quake and doing that to where he would travel the entire country and make a living out of that. He'd make money playing in all the tournaments and everything. And to me, that was so cool because that was the first time in my whole life that I saw that you could make money by playing video games. Survivals, it kind of sparked in me where I was growing an audience because I was the best. And so that's when I streamed it full time. But unfortunately, even though I was making more money than my actual job playing Rivals because of all the tournament money and all the streaming money, and I got some sponsors and the donations I would get from my lovely fans. Cause there were a few years where I made like 50k or 60k from Rivals. It was short-lived because Rivals died as fast as it grew. 2019 was the peak year for Rivals. 2018 was just like the alpha beta in the first season. After 2019, that's when the game died off. EA knew that the game wasn't profitable, so they cut active development, which really sucks. And so the reason why I haven't been playing this game in a while, because it's like it's stale. I'm sure you guys remember the earlier seasons where you could do pretty much almost anything because there was an established meta. People were doing tech, or like when the Razorback came out, there was a popular Razorback Titan deck. When Fanatics came out, people were doing all sorts of stuff with that, and Scavengers came out. People were doing artillery decks or other stuff. It was fun. The meta right now is cheap garbage. or like abusing certain things. Honestly, the MSV meta or the machine gun meta is way better than this. This is the worst meta the game has ever had. I stand by that. This is just not fun. And so yeah, despite me being ranked 1 in several games, right now I think I'm not really gonna compete anymore. There was a study I saw that said 25 years old is like the last year of your life where you can really be competitive. Because all the pro gamers in League of Legends or Starcraft or CSGO, they're all in their 20s and early teens. I mean, not early teens, late teens. And then, yeah, I wish I had the wisdom I had now, but in my teens. That'd be awesome, you know? It really sucks. Getting old really sucks. Do you have infantry? I'm just gonna see. Nice try, Sud. You lost your whole army. I'm assuming it's very War Factory heavy, because you wouldn't run buggy unless you're doubling down the War Factory. Another easy victory. That's pretty much it, guys. For the most part. World Champion Rivals, World Champion in Star Wars Force Arena, Rank 1 in Warcraft 3, getting wrecked by all the other regions. Because it's like, in cyber games, I got plane trips to New York and everything, and yeah, I get wrecked in the very first round. Because, like, how am I supposed to know that the meta in other regions is completely different? Like, people did the tavern and got Fire Lord and tower rushed me. It's like, that's something I never experienced in the U.S. East region, so that really sucks. But whatever. I know I'm missing out some stuff. I'm just trying to think. Right now, I'm more invested in like my livelihood. I've been putting all my effort in my IT career right now. I never stopped my career as I was gaming. I'm sure you guys heard most of my life stories from my past streams, and I didn't make any of that up. I don't really make up stories to make myself sound cooler, cause my life's full of trauma. I'm still recovering from some of it. But I will say, I'm in a way better mental state now. 7, 14. Yeah, I can't get this final reward. It's whatever. I don't care that much. Like, I can't spend the gems on anything anyway. That's cool. So yeah, guys, I hope you liked my video. I'm sorry that there was no really clear structure or anything. Just me rambling on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe I'll stream some more. I don't know. I'm not monetized on YouTube, so don't expect a lot of content. I feel like all of this is just like it's a distraction from my life. I've been working 3 jobs for the past few months to try and get ahead in life, and I was able to afford myself some facial surgery for my own mental sanity. I'm recovering just fine. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll have a script next time. Next time I do a video like this, I'll have a script, so it sounds better, and I'm not just rambling on the top of my head. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed my video, and yeah, moo. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.